So yes, I'm talking about Kapil Agarwal, sir. He's a SEBI research analyst and the founder of Invest Caps. He has 18 plus years of experience in the Indian stock markets and IIT Delhi, IIM Lucknow, and ESCP Europe graduate. He focuses on systematic research-based trading and investing. He has worked in key roles at major banks and an HFT firm. So yes, good afternoon, sir, and welcome to our show. Okay, hello. Bad. Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Okay. Yes, sir. Till time sir joins us back again. एक बार हम डिस्कस कर रहे थे निफ्टी के ऊपर. Let's see कौन से levels यहाँ पे बनते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं. And yes, sir is back with us. So yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir, and welcome to our show.
Yeah, thank you, Shlok. Thank you for having me.
So yes, sir. क्या लग रहा है आपको निफ्टी पर आज जिस हिसाब से वॉलेटिलिटी दिख रही है तो क्या लेवल्स आपको बनते हुए दिख रहे हैं यहाँ पर?
Yeah, so Shlok, I think we'll continue from last week. So I sort of maintain my view, and in fact, I mentioned last time why I tend to have a positive bias in the medium term on Nifty as well as the overall market, at least a retesting of probably the highs which we saw in September 24 last year, right?
Right.
So if you see after that, I think next day it did give a intraday sort of levels below 24,000, but on Monday it sort of recovered sharply, and in fact it broke the range with a huge gap up.
Right, sir.
Nifty going almost touching 25,000 levels on the same day, right? So after that, I think it was a huge reaction and consolidation breakout by the market on all indices. So,
Right.
so some bit of consolidation and sideways and profit booking is natural. I think the main levels to look for, and I'm talking about both Nifty and Bank Nifty, would be the gap which it gave, between Friday and Monday. So,
Right.
so I think Nifty level somewhere stands at 24378, which is the low of Monday this week, and on Friday the high was 164.25. I
Okay.
think in the worst case, it should take a support between these levels.
Okay.
And if anybody wants to sort of go long positionally, they can keep these levels in mind.
Okay, perfect. So, sir, and there's been quite a lot of sell-offs happening, even though the India VIX has cooled down. And what do you think is going to impact further this kind of sell-off that is happening in the markets?
See, sell-offs, if you see, yes, of course, there is a profit correction because, I mean, if you have a single day jump of 3 to 4%,
Right.
and 25,000 resistance is also, if you see the call buildups, in fact, for the month of May as well as June. So it has a lot
Right.
of call buildups in 25,000 levels. So it is another resistance of its own. So I think a lot of people who would have sort of made money on that upside or in the short covering. So profit booking is justifiable. But in the underlying market, a lot of stocks are also simultaneously giving breakouts, particularly on, if you see on the strong results. So somewhere
Right,
it's
sir.
a market which will it's not a out and out secular bull run which we saw in last probably 2-3 years. There'll be a bit of consolidation before the larger market also catches up, and we have a more broader based rally, if at all. But right now it's a stock pickers market, and a lot of breakouts with range consolidation might happen at index levels.
Perfect, sir. So that is what is sir's view, guys. So एक sum up करने के लिए सर बता रहे हैं कि certain levels उन्हें दिखते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं, and एक उन्होंने already पहले बताया था कि उन्हें मिड टर्म पे लग रहा था निफ्टी might give us a good rally, and exactly वही हुआ है. एंड 25,000 के लेवल पे एक बहुत बढ़िया रेजिस्टेंस हमें देखने को मिला है, इवन दो एक बहुत बड़ी रैली आई थी, and अभी जिस हिसाब से मार्केट्स मूव कर रहे हैं तो यहाँ पे एक बढ़िया प्राइस करेक्शन हमें देखने को मिल रहा है. सर, अदर देन दिस, व्हाट इज योर व्यू ऑन बैंक निफ्टी एज वेल? What do you think are the levels that we should watch out for?
So Bank Nifty again, same. If you see the gap, so the high for I think Friday was somewhere around 54054, and then on Monday it showed a low of 54558. And if you also see the previous all-time high, which we had in September, was around 54467. So this breakout also coincides with that, and even right now Nifty is Bank Nifty is trading above this range. So I think this entire range will act as a very good support levels. In fact, if somebody needs to take a long position, I can recommend a trade. They
Mm-hmm.
can go long at CMP and probably closing up below 54467, which is September high, and it's
Mm-hmm.
a key level which coincides with this range also. Can be a stop loss,
Okay,
and for
okay.
targeting 1:2 ratio. Yeah.
Okay, so sir, if we had to take any, like you're suggesting that if some trades have to be taken, this is the level that we have to watch out for. And 1:2, as in we have to be quite tight to the stop losses and targets. That is what you're suggesting.
Yes, of course. I mean, it's not a market. See, because news flow is quite volatile. I mean, we are in a scenario where, particularly given the war kind of news, and it's
Mm-hmm.
it's still not completely settled. I mean,
Right,
India's stance remains that if anything, any kind of poking happens again from Pakistan, so they will retaliate. So
right,
in such a news flow, what happens is there might be certain positional levels which will hold, which are likely to hold, but on the intraday levels, there can be a lot of volatility or days which have a lot of volatility. So, I mean,
right,
F&O can be risky if you sort of carry the naked positions without strict
right.
stop. So I'll recommend that.
परफेक्ट परफेक्ट सो यस सर ने काफी अच्छे तरीके से आपको बता दिया कौन से लेवल्स है क्या देखना चाहिए आपको और किस टाइप के ट्रेड्स आपको एग्जीक्यूट करने चाहिए सर एनी स्पेसिफिक सेक्टर दैट यू हैव बीन वाचिंग ओवर राइट नाउ
Yeah, I think I'm bullish on Bank Nifty, the selective stocks which I mentioned last week as well. I'll maintain my bullish stance on them, because if you see even the entire sort of drop, a lot of them have shown good strength. I mean, in
राइट
banking, let's say Kotak or even ICICI has recovered very fast. So
ओके
so these are the stocks people can keep in view.
Okay, so if we are talking about banks here, so especially ICICI Bank, like you mentioned, and we have had good results for this bank as well. And
Hmm.
not only the results, but the overall financials have looked very strong for this particular stock. So what are the levels that you're watching out for in ICICI Bank?
So I do not have specific levels on ICICI Bank, but I mean, I think uh, uh, since it has been in continuous bull run, shown support. So I think 20 DMA is a sort of good level to trail any long position,
Mm-hmm.
and any closure below 20 DMA could be a stop loss if at all somebody wants to play long on this.
Okay, so 20 DMA. Okay, fine. So I can see if I just even if I just skip DMA and just take 21 moving day average as the as the level. So I think it's
Hmm.
1430 that we're talking about here. So roughly
So
around
I'm talking
five.
about on a daily chart.
Yes, sir.
Is it? Yeah.
Okay, you're talking on the daily chart. So I think it's roughly around 14 13 if I'm not wrong. 14
Yeah.
13 14 20. That is the levels that we're looking out for. And yes, and sir, the targets are placed at, if you can just repeat that statement.
So I'll suggest keep a tight risk to reward ratio of 1:2, which is a decent risk to reward for F&O position, and not get too greedy in the volatile market.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So yes, sir का एक overview आ चुका है bullish है sir ICICI Bank पे. Sir, other than ICICI Bank, if we are talking about other than the banking sector, is there any specific sector that our viewers should at least keep an eye on?
Yeah, so a lot of broader market and some of the other sectors are still lagging behind. If you see, it's I mean, a lot of probably sector rotation is playing on where
Right, sir.
uh, Bank Nifty and Fin Nifty has given the all-time high breakouts.
Mm-hmm.
Nifty, while overall is trading above 50-day moving average and 200-day, in fact, has also given a golden crossover, which we talked about last week. But
Right.
the broader market, Nifty 500, Nifty, I mean, small cap Nifty, they're still playing catching up. So given that background, a lot of sectors are still to participate in this rally, and probably while we can sort of look to them, having a F&O position right now will be sort of not recommended from my side.
Perfect. Okay, okay, perfect. Sir, actually, I just wanted to ask your overview on specific sector right now. So
Hmm.
I've been, constantly tracking over metals. So, is there any specific data pointers that you think might be important for metal sector here?
See, metals, I remain overall bullish on, particularly, uh, something like, let's say, gold, silver. So while there is no company, uh, uh, I mean, a large company indulging in gold mining in India. But on silver,
Mm-hmm.
so of course, some of the names, I mean, Hindustan Zinc, of course.
Yes,
But
sir.
these I would suggest as part of mostly long-term portfolio and not any short-term trade ideas. But yes, metals as a sector, I remain overall quite bullish for the longer term as well. I mean,
Perfect.
particularly given the, I mean, dollar sort of, the transition which is happening from dollar to gold, the trade wars. I think this is
Right,
something
sir.
which is a scenario which is going to play in long term, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
something which is behind us as of now.
Perfect, perfect. Yes, sir. Okay, I get your point, sir. So, sir, finally, I also like to ask you, do you think if we have to, just show it to the audience that if we are going to do some writing trades, is it possible on index today? Or do you think recommend to just stay away from the market for the time being?
So index, I said, bank nifty trade can be had.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, going long even at these levels,
Okay,
and probably having a strict stop loss of 54467, which was the previous all-time high, right?
okay,
And
okay,
it's also broadly in the range or the gap which we shown from sort of Friday to Monday this week. So
okay, okay,
that
perfect, perfect.
that trade can be taken. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yes, sir, I get your point. And sir, finally, I would also like to ask you, is there any, data pointers specifically that our viewers should watch out for before, trading or taking, consideration into trading in this volatile market?
So any closure below this gap, if this gap gets filled, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
on any of the major indices, I think that is where it would probably require a review of a medium term bullishness. But till that time, this gap holds. I'm pitching for the retesting of earlier highs on Nifty.
Okay, okay, perfect, sir. So yes, sir, and I would also like to ask you, is there any other data pointer finally that you would like to add on your end, and so that we can move on with the show?
Uh, No, so no other specific data point. I mean, we remain sort of biased towards bullishness, and I think it's the trade should largely be following the trend with restricted stop loss on the downside,
Mm-hmm.
and any breakout trades can be sort of taken.
Okay, perfect. So, yes, sir. Sir, I think, and finally, I'd like to take your disclosure as well. Is there any disclosures that you want to give it to us?
Yeah, so some of the stocks which I have mentioned, I may have position in that. For example, Hindustan Zinc, and apart from Nifty, there's no specific or Bank Nifty trade which I have mentioned. There is no specific recommendation to buy or sell in this video.
Okay, okay, perfect. So, yes, sir, thank you so much, and really glad it was a quick discussion, but quite insightful. We had a discussion about the indexes, and we have defined a lot of levels here. So that's the reason why I think viewers are mostly interested more on index rather than the stocks. So this gives
Yeah.
you a very different view, and sir has explained you why he is looking for a good positive run for the short term. So that is what you should keep in your mind. And yes, sir has already given a disclaimers, so you can take care of that as well. So thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us, and really glad to have you here. And I hope I see you next time more, and we'll have you here again on the show. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Thank you.